This is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. What day is it? It is Wednesday here in the lab room. And you know what that means. It's time for me to break down the Pick'em Weekly. And you know I had a big week now. I told you I was going to have a huge bounce back week. I told you that this week, week number 8 that is, in the National Football League, was an easy week to pick. And I'm actually quite disappointed that I didn't go, undefeated or, 12-1. That's, to me, the most disappointing part. But I'm not going to sit here and lament. Or actually, I did go 12-1. So I'm not going to sit here and complain. I could have been undefeated. And I probably should have been undefeated. But you knew one of these games was going to jump up and bite me. And I knew that. I knew it. And I tried to defend myself. I said that, hey, it's going to be a couple of teams that show up uninvited to the party. Somehow they found out where the location of the party was going to be and what time it was going to take place. And they were going to just show up unannounced. And it was my job to figure out, when they were going to show up and stop them at the door before they tried to come in and crash the party. So I found a couple of them, but I wasn't able to get every single one of them. The only team that slipped through the cracks was the Raiders. And look, I talked about this game. I told you if I lost 2 or 3 games this week, this would be one of them. And 93 yards in the first play, really? Really? And I talked about Terrell Pryor and how he was going to be the most athletic person on the field. The most athletically gifted player on the field when the Raiders offense and the Steelers defense were on the field at the same time. And no one on that Steelers defense was going to be able to catch him if he got loose into the secondary. And then he was going to pose fits for them. And really, he didn't really kill them per se with his legs in this game. But that 93-yard touchdown on the first play of the game, that hurt. That stung because what it did was it set the tone for the game. It told the Raiders that, hey, we should win this game. We're going to win this game. What it did was it gave the Raiders more confidence than they already had coming into this game. Look, the Steelers were 2-4, the same exact record as the Raiders coming into this game. They weren't afraid of the Raiders. They didn't feel like, hey, we can't win this game. This isn't the big bad Steelers that came into this game at 5-1. This was the 2-4 Steelers. So any little edge that they could get, any more confidence that they could build, that was going to make them that more dangerous in this game. And you let them start off the game with a 93-yard touchdown by the quarterback, nonetheless. Oh, you can forget about it. And once he scored that touchdown, I said, and it's funny, I looked at the screen with a blank stare, and I said, I'm going to lose this game, aren't I? And sure enough, the Steelers did everything in their power not to win. And the Raiders, the bad part about it was the Raiders tried to give this game away. Terrell Pryor threw a couple of picks, and they wouldn't put them away. They scored 21. They got comfortable on 21. They said, hey, this looks like a nice, comfy number. I think I like 21. I'll stay here for a while. They didn't move off of 21, I want to say somewhere late second, early third quarter. They didn't move off of 21. And the Steelers had every opportunity to come and take this game from them. And they simply didn't want it. And so there's not much you can do when a team simply doesn't want to win. And the Steelers simply did not want to win this football game. So that was my only loss. And you could argue that I had 2 losses. And I'd listen to it. But I told you that if Michael Vick didn't play this entire game, if for any reason Matt Barkley played in this football game, give me the Giants. I made that clear in my picks. I said if Vick starts and plays this entire game, give me the Eagles. And he wasn't sharp in this game, but I felt like if he would have played this whole entire game, he would have shook off the rust and found a way to beat this Giants team. They only mustered 5 field goals in this game. So I felt like if Vick would have had more time in this game, I think the Eagles would have found a way to win that game. But again, it's irrelevant. Vick didn't finish the game. The hamstring wasn't ready to go. He said he heard something pop, which isn't good for the Philadelphia Eagles because you don't have Michael Vick. You don't have a potent enough offense to keep this team afloat in this season. Because Nicholas Foles, for all the good that he can do and that he can bring to this offense, he's not athletic enough to threaten defenses with the read option, with the threat of, getting out of the back door and having a rushing threat at the quarterback position. If you don't have that in this Chip Kelly offense, I don't think you have enough to scare teams away from coming after you and putting pressure on your offense and your quarterbacks and forcing you into mistakes. So I'm not buying the Eagles, and I definitely am not buying Matt Barkley, who came into this game and turned it over once again. And they lost this football game, did the Eagles. And I said if he played in this game at all for any reason, give me the Giants. And that's what happened. So I think I get the benefit of the doubt there because I called that one. So I went 12-1, and it feels great to get back on track. I really needed that because, again, week 7 for me was rough. And like I said, I thought week 8 would be easy. But it's one thing to say it's easy. It's another thing to go out and prove that it's an easy week and that you have a handle of this thing. And that's what I did. And Flash, if I'm not mistaken, lost 3 games, maybe 2, but 3 or 2 games in. And again, like I said, doesn't matter what Flash does. At the end of the day, whatever he does, I'll be at least one better than him. But I will post his picks on Friday along with the picks that I give you for the Pick'em Weekly on Friday, because he said that since he only lost by 1 in week 7, he feels like he deserves another shot. And I don't have any gripes about that. I'll give him another chance, but it's going to be the same result. It might be worse depending on how these week 9 games look. And I really haven't had a chance to look and sit down and break down the games, but I do know this. I am definitely confident in my Soul Survivor pick in week number 9 as I was in week 8. And the week 8 Soul Survivor pick came through for me in a huge way. I knew the San Francisco 49ers were going to dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars. They dominated from start to finish. They won that game 42-10. So my Soul Survivor pick has been right 7 out of 8 weeks. I went down in week number 5. Atlanta Falcons let me down. And so I've been pretty good with my Soul Survivor picks. That one did not pan out for me. So I definitely have a winner. I have 2 actually in week 9, but I'm only going to give you 1 because most people probably have already used the team that I would give you. So I'll give you one of my picks as a Soul Survivor. But here's my record now after a 12-1 week number 8. Beautiful. I needed that. It's definitely going to boost up that win-loss ratio. So that's what it looks like now. Now, let's get to Soul Survivor of week number 9.
Everyone can pick, but only one can win. Are you the Soul Survivor?
All right, so you know how this goes. It's the Soul Survivor here in the lab room. It's fast-paced. It's in your face. Here we go. So, you start off Thursday Night Football. You got the Cincinnati Bengals on the road against the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins have lost 4 straight games. Cincinnati is on a 3-game winning streak. Look, I told you that you need to pay attention to the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. They're a little sketchy. They're getting better. That was a big road win 2 weeks ago versus Detroit on the road. But you know what? This isn't a game that is necessary to pick. Even though the Dolphins are struggling, they're still at home. You still don't know what you're getting out of this Cincinnati Bengals team for sure on the road. No need to pick this. There are much better options for a Soul Survivor on this week than this one. Keep moving. You look at the Sunday slate of games. Kansas City at Buffalo. Absolutely not. The Chiefs don't score enough, and the Bills are a dangerous team at home. Now, I've been hearing grumblings that the Bills might have to start Jeff Toole in this game. Even if they start Jeff Toole, and that would probably be a death sentence for them in this game if they do, because the Chiefs are that good defensively that they'll turn him over 2 or 3 times. Even if he starts, you still want to be careful here because the Bills play inspired football at home. I'd leave this one alone. Even though the Chiefs are 8-0, even though the Bills aren't a good football team, especially if Jeff Toole has to step in and play. No. There's a better option. We'll get to that here shortly. Keep it going. So you go to Atlanta at Carolina. Family business. Family business, family business, family business. If Monday Night Football wasn't enough for you to see that family business is something that is extremely dangerous to get involved with if you have nothing to do with it, then I don't know what else is. Family business, even though the Falcons are a bad football team and the Panthers are playing better of late, this is family business. If it's not your business, keep your nose out of something that does not belong to you. This isn't my family business. I know my nose doesn't belong here, so I'm going to keep on trucking. You look at the next matchup. Dallas at Minnesota. Ding, 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 ding. This is your sole survivor of week number 9 right here. I mean, Dallas at home versus a really bad Minnesota Vikings football team. Now, Christian Ponder came in. He played solidly on Sunday Night Football. But this Cowboys team, they're steaming, man. They know they let one slip away from their grasp last Sunday in Detroit. They need this one. They can't afford to lose to a 1-6 Minnesota Vikings team, or excuse me, 1-6 Minnesota Vikings team. They can't lose to a 1-6 Minnesota Vikings team. They can't afford to drop it. As bad as this NFC East is, you can't afford to lose the teams that you're supposed to beat. Take the Cowboys at home to get it done. This is a no-doubter. Tony Romo is going to carve up that Vikings defense, and this Dallas Cowboys offense is probably going to stifle Christian Ponder and that Minnesota Vikings offense. If Adrian Peterson doesn't go off for about $170 and 3 scores, they don't stand a chance in this game. Take the Cowboys, run with it, don't look back. But just in case you don't trust me, we're going to go on. There's a lot of games left. I want you to feel confident that this is the sole survivor of week number 9. So we move on. Saints at Jets. Absolutely not. Rex Ryan at home. This Jets defense can be a dangerous group. The Saints, while they won last week, they did it in an impressive fashion, but they had some issues, some penalties and some turnovers. They did some things that are uncharacteristic of the New Orleans Saints. Look, they're on the road, and the Jets are a scary bunch at home, and they get pressure on the quarterback. You never know when that pressure might result in 2 or 3 Drew Brees interceptions. He's due for a stinker. This could be it. You don't know. You're not sure. The Saints are probably going to win this game, but you're not 110% sure. And when you're not sure, you can't do it. You got to move on. So that finds us Tennessee at St. Louis. Tennessee Titans on the road versus the St. Louis Rams. We saw the fight that the Rams put up on Monday Night Football. This isn't family business. They do not know the Tennessee Titans that well. However, they're still at home. The Titans are losers of 4 straight, or 3 straight, excuse me. Yeah, at 3-4, they could right the ship here in this game, could the Titans, or they could continue on their losing ways. Who knows what they're going to do in this game? I do know this much. This isn't a smart pick. I do know that much, which means I'm moving on to San Diego at Washington. Really? Phillip Rivers and the San Diego Chargers, the red-hot San Diego Chargers, coming off of their bye week. Yeah, they got to travel across the country to D.C. to take on these Redskins, but you don't know what Redskins team you're getting. You're getting a red-hot Phillip Rivers who is posting career-high numbers. He's not turning it over. He's throwing touchdown passes. He's completing a high percentage of his passes versus a Redskins team that is playing better defensively. You don't know if the Robert Griffin III from the Chicago Bears game is showing up or the Robert Griffin III from the Dallas and the Denver game is showing up. He's at home. This looks like a game that they might be able to get, but again, you're not sure. And when you're not 100% certain, time for you to close the curtain. Move on. Next game, Philadelphia at Oakland. Absolutely not. Raiders are 3-4. Eagles are 3-4. This isn't a good pick. Excuse me. Eagles are 3-5. Raiders are playing some confident football right now. And even though it doesn't always translate to wins, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I'd just move right along. I'm telling you right now, this Eagles team, they're Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and the Raiders are at home in this game. They're playing with confidence. The Eagles seem to play better on the road than they do at home. Who knows what you're getting out of this game? I do know one thing. Don't make the mistake of falling into this trap. Move on. So you look at Tampa Bay at Seattle. If you haven't picked the Seahawks at all, please pick the Seahawks this week as your sole survivor pick. This is a no-brainer. They're going to absolutely obliterate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. Now, for most of you, you picked Seattle when they had Jacksonville in about week 3 or 4. So you probably don't have the option of selecting Seattle. I know I selected Seattle in week number 4, I think it was, against Jacksonville. So you probably don't have the ability to select Seattle. But if you do, by all means, check them out. But if you do, by all means, check them out, because this is an absolute slam dunk, no doubt about it. But if that option isn't available to you, again, I already gave you an option that is just as good, if not better, in the Dallas Cowboys. But let's keep on trucking. You look at the next one. Baltimore at Cleveland. Family business. Don't care what the stakes are. Don't care what the records are. Throw them out of the window. It's family business. And again, I point back to Monday Night Football. For those of you who are a little wary and think this is a smart decision, it's family business, okay? If these two teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. And if they did, well, that's family business. Not mine. Maybe yours. It's definitely not mine. Keeping my nose clean, staying out of it. You look at the next game. Pittsburgh at New England. This isn't the same Pittsburgh-New England game that has captivated us over the years. Patriots are struggling, so are the Steelers. However, you do not know if Tom Brady is going to decide to throw 2 picks in this game. You don't know if they're going to put it on the ground, that being the Patriots running backs. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if Ben Roethlisberger and this offense explodes for 24 points. That's an explosion for those guys. And finds a way to get it done against these Patriots. You don't know what's going to happen in this game, even though you probably feel pretty confident about the Patriots. If you want to sign off on this one, you want me to sign off, you want to bring me the permission slip, I'll sign it. But I'm telling you right now, be careful, tread lightly here. This isn't your best option, but if you want to be bullheaded and you want to go here, I don't mind. Bring me the permission slip, I'll sign it up. But I'm telling you right now, there's better options. I've already given you 2. Stay away from this game if at all possible. If you want to go here, again, I will put my John Hancock on it. I have no problems signing off on a Patriots victory, but be careful. Just warning you. You look at the next one. Sunday Night Football. Colts at the Texans. Family business. Okay, and the team that you probably expect to win is on the road. And if you don't know, that's a double whammy. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Stop. Stay away from this game. That's a double whammy. Road team and family business. Absolutely not. And I like Case Keenum. Be careful. Be careful with Case Keenum, Indy. Go after this guy because he's showed a lot of poise in one start. Let's see if he can go out and ball out. But this is absolutely, unequivocally not a good decision. I won't allow you to make this pick. Move on. Monday Night Football. The Chicago Bears. The Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. Go, Pack, go! No, no, no! You can't pick this game. It's a rivalry game. It's family business. And by the way, this isn't a good idea. If you think this is a good idea, you need to wash your face. You need to wash your face because this makes absolutely no sense. None whatsoever. I'm not going to explain myself any further because it's Packers, it's Bears, it's the oldest rivalry in the NFL. No. So that takes me back to my original point that the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Dallas is your sole survivor pick. The Cowboys aren't losing to the Vikings at home. And if you got Seattle, please pick Seattle this week. No way Tampa Bay, the 0-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, go into Seattle and get a win. It is not, I repeat, it is not happening. So you've got 2 options. Pick one, run with it, don't look back. You'll find yourself moving on to week number 10. So, without a doubt, the Seattle Seahawks or the Dallas Cowboys, but in my case, the Dallas Cowboys are
The Soul Survivor!
Ha ha! That's right. Which leads us straight into throw it up. Throw it up. Don't be afraid. Throw it up. That's right. Tack on this extra point. Had a couple of big injuries in the National Football League over this week. Sidney Rice tears his ACL. Done for the season. detrimental blow, because that's that big play receiver, and not in the sense of, hey, he's stretching the field. I'm talking about you're in the red zone looking for a guy to throw it up to. Who better to throw it up to than 6'4" Sidney Rice? That option is no longer available to you now. He's gone for the season. The only silver lining in this cloud is that the Seahawks have a plethora of big receivers. Just slide in Jermaine Kearse and just keep it moving, but you're also about to get Percy Harvin back. So you're getting Percival back, and if Percival comes back and he's the same Percival that was in Minnesota, you got yourself a beast coming back to help you. So even though that's still a tough loss, that's one that you can soften the impact of with the arrival of Percival Harvin and a little bit of Jermaine Kearse coming in and making some plays with his big frame. So that's a big injury. What about Brian Waters, the guard that the Cowboys begged to come out of retirement? And he helped shore up this offensive line in Dallas. All of a sudden, he's done for the season now. A couple of injuries that have put him on the shelf, and that's probably a career for him. I mean, he decided to come back. Now he's injured. I don't see this guy wanting to have to rehab and come back for a 14th season at 36. I don't see it happening. So now the Cowboys are back to Mackenzie Bernardo. That's what you were running away from in the first place. Good luck with that one. That's a huge injury to a Cowboys offensive line that was starting to play some solid football. So some big injuries happened in week number 8 to a couple of teams. And Jay Cutler talking about he wants to come back a little sooner from his injury. Now they're talking about Lance Briggs is about 2 to 4 weeks instead of that initial 6-week prognosis for him. So guys are trying to come back a little sooner for the Chicago Bears. We'll see how it all unfolds for the Bears as they try to get back into that NFC North race, because you don't want to let things slip away from you. Bears have already leapfrogged you. Now the Packers have gone in front of you. Now you're in third place. Got to find a way to start winning games in the division. Here's a huge one on the road against the Packers. You don't have your starting quarterback. You don't have your leader on the defense. Can you go in and shock the Packers and come out with a W? We'll see. But that's going to do it for the Wednesday edition of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. You know how this goes. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. See you on Thursday when I break down Thursday Night Football.
Like the content? Want more? Sub up.
In the lab room.